do see, when I see someone smoking, it does change my view of them. Personally, I think it's unattractive both for females and males, not just one sex. I don't know, it just doesn't it doesn't attract me. It doesn't grab my attention in a positive way.
When I see someone smoking, it gives me a view of that, like, they don't care about their health too much, and that they have little willpower, because it's not something that's incredibly difficult to quit or kick.
When I see someone smoking, it does affect my view of them. I think that smoking is a gross habit, so I associate that with the person and think they're not necessarily a gross person, but it's not healthy and it shouldn't be doing it. So
yes, it does affect my view of them because it makes me think that they don't care very much about their health and their body, because smoking is a very unhealthy habit.
I would say yeah, just because I find that smoking is really unattractive, and I don't like the smell, I don't like the look of it. I just don't like it. So I automatically, anyone who smokes, I automatically have a negative view of them.
Like, what they do, it doesn't bother me and all. It's like, if they're going to be my friend, I don't care if they smoke or not, just as long as it's, like, really not around me, because I don't want to have the secondhand smoke.
When I see someone smoking, I have a pretty negative view of them, because I think smoking's unhealthy and it's a bad way to live your life, wasting money.
In some ways, it does affect my views. I don't allow it to completely, affect my judgment of that person. I still would like to get to know who that person is before judging them based upon whether they're smoking or not, but in some ways it does. I don't personally like cigarette smoke, so I would want to get away. I would rather probably not even spend so much time with someone that smokes compared to someone who doesn't smoke, just because I just don't like it, so.
I would have to say yes, because I think that there's so much information out there about how smoking harms your body, and so for someone to do that with all the knowledge that is available, which most people are exposed to, I don't understand how they can do that to themselves.
Yeah, I don't know, I think the first thought is that they're not as concerned about their health as they should be. I guess the first thought I have is they just don't really respect their bodies, and keeping it healthy isn't a big priority to them. So that's probably the main view that I have.
I think it does affect my view of them. I think when I see someone smoking, I'm more apt to judge them more harshly and to be like, wow, why would they waste their money and their time on cigarettes when, you can spend your money on something more useful or more fun.
The average smoker, let's say you smoke a pack a day. Oh, I live in New York, and they're $8 for a pack. So a month, I'd say about like $600, yeah.
6 months, going on an average pack that costs about $4. In a month, I'd say, if not close to maybe 70, 80 bucks in a month, depending on how avid of a smoker they are.
Yeah. I think that an average smoker would spend about $500 maybe for 6 months.
I would guess that a smoker spends around $200 in 6 months.
Well, I know cigarettes are really expensive. They're like $12. So if you think about it, if you do the math, if you have 2 packs a day, so 12 times 2, it's like 24. And then there's at least 29 days in the month. So if you do 29 times 24, that's a lot. That's a lot. A lot. I would say, I don't know, probably 600 or 700, maybe for 6 months, yeah.
Smoker, I think, spends roughly $60 every 6 months.
I think the average smoker spends probably around $400 to $500 every 6 months, and I'm saying that because I work at a grocery store, so I've seen people come in and buy a carton with cigarettes, which is about $45 to $50. I've seen them come in about every 2 weeks.
Someone would spend $500 in 6 months on cigarettes.
Yeah, I don't know how much cigarettes cost. So this is kind of just up in the air. I'm just making this up. $500. That's a lot. $200. Maybe $200.
$100.
I would have to say probably like $300. I've never purchased cigarettes, so I'm not sure, but I would guess 300.
I would guess that they spend probably thousands of dollars, depending on how often they smoke.
That's
a
actually
reaction.
ridiculous amounts of money. That could pay my housing for my dorm, and you're using that money on cigarettes. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Need to reevaluate their expenses and priorities, because I feel as though that could be used on your daily needs of life, like food, rent, living expenses, all that.
Wow, I mean, I would find that believable, but that's just way too much.
Months. It was a very expensive habit.
And considering like mortgage is like $1,200 or whatever, so if you spending all of that money, you could actually be saving up for a house, and like that could have been like a mortgage payment. Like that's just really sad. And then I'm from New York, so it's already polluted. All this extra smoke in the air is just not necessary. It makes me upset.
Oh my god, I would say that's ridiculous. I would say that's a lot of money. Yeah.
How do people afford that?
Okay, so 500 I guess is a little closer. Interesting. All right.
I would have to say that's higher than I realized, and in this economy, I don't know how you could afford to do that. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money to be wasting on cigarettes, I think.
I actually smoked one cigarette in my whole entire life. Don't show this to my parents. Don't trick me. But yes, it was really disgusting. I think it was more like my friend's a smoker. He smokes literally like 2 packs a day. He was like, oh, it helps with stress. And I was very stressed at the time due to like classwork and stuff. So I just took one and smoked it and ended up like feeling really, really sick afterwards.
Never smoked before.
I've never smoked before, but I'm guessing it would be peer pressure.
No, I have never smoked before.
Alright. I have smoked before, and the reason I started smoking is I really want to try it. I don't smoke anymore now, but I just thought, like, you know, I saw a few other people doing it, so I really want to try it. I don't usually smoke cigarettes unless I really, really need one. But I like the taste, and they're somewhat relaxing, I guess. I don't know.
I have never smoked before, and I don't plan on it.
Never smoked before.
I've never smoked before.
No, I've never smoked.
No, I've never smoked before.
No, I've never smoked.
I would say yes, my aunt, she smokes a lot actually. I would say psychologically it's affected her, and I've seen it happen because one time I took her cigarettes and hid them from her, and she like freaked out, like she was like cursing me out, asking me for her cigarettes back. Like she looked like she was, you know, having a breakdown because she didn't have her cigarettes, and then I ended up giving it back to her, and she felt, I guess, much better. But yeah.
The person that was very close to me was affected by smoking. It was my grandmother. She ended up having to get a whole quarter of her lung removed as a result of the damaging effects of smoking.
My aunt and my grandmother actually both had lung cancer because of smoking. My grandmother and my aunt both smoked their whole life. So.
Yeah, my dad's mom, my grandma, she passed away of cancer, lung cancer, because she smoked a lot. So I guess this is why I probably like really hold this issue like really close to my heart, just because I feel like this isn't something necessarily that's like genetics or anything. Like, this is something that you can control, and the fact that people smoke and we know like the risk of getting like lung cancer and stuff, I don't know, it just really bothers me. But I don't know, hopefully people will come to their senses and realize the effects of smoking.
I do know someone who's affected by smoking. It'd be my uncle. he smokes like 4 cigarettes a day, maybe even more. Like he smokes at least 4 cigarettes a day, and you can tell in his voice because of how deep it is how much he smoked.
I actually do know somebody that had their health affected by smoking. My grandmother, who passed away in the early 90s, I really didn't get to know her that well. She was a heavy smoker during her life, and she was on oxygen for quite a few years.
My mom smokes. She started smoking when she was 16 years old, and when she started having kids when she was 21, she stopped, but then she started up again once she was done having kids, and her lungs collapsed for a time, and she was in the hospital for about a month. She had Legionnaire's disease, and when she was pretty much near death, and but she made it out, and she said she would never smoke again. However, the year after, she started smoking, and it just blew my mind. I didn't understand how she could do that after being at such a low point. But then 3 years later, she actually stopped for good, and she hasn't smoked for 10 years now.
When I see a girl smoking, it actually turns me off of my attraction to her. I feel as though it's unladylike.
I find people who smoke less attractive because I think that they don't really care about themselves.
I don't think it's attractive. The smell, I don't know. I mean, I just don't like it.
I find her less attractive, and I would never date a girl that smokes, so.
I definitely find it less attractive. If a guy's smoking, it's not something. I don't like cigarette smoke, I'm sorry. So
to care for their body and care for their health, and I don't think that's very attractive when you're physically harming yourself, and cancer is so prevalent, and you can do anything to prevent that. I don't know why. It just makes them look really foolish to me.
I would say it's unattractive. It makes me think that they'll age a lot quicker, and that their looks will decline. That they'll look a lot older much quicker.
If someone's smoking, I think I generally find them less attractive. Something about a smoker, I wouldn't want to smell the smell of smoke or like kiss someone who'd been smoking. I just think that's gross.